Hi, I'm Ray, and welcome to my October 2025 reading journal. This month I was able to read 5 books, and it was actually more than I thought I'd be able to, because this month I actually got married on the 3rd of October, and it was such a great time. My husband's amazing. I love him so much. We had a great time with our friends and family with us, and yeah, it was awesome. But after this, we went on a trip, so I didn't have all the time to read and ended up watching a bunch of movies together, which is why I watched 7 movies, because I am now contractually obligated to only watch movies with him, basically, because if I watch something alone, he's like, why are you not watching it with me? So he gets upset. So now I have to watch movies with him, which definitely makes my plan of watching 52 movies this year a little harder. But I did read 5 books, and I finished most of them after the 15th. Actually, yeah, the first one I finished on the 15th, and then everything else was after that, as you can tell by my year in pixels. I'm not doing my watching year in pixels, but I am doing my book bingo, and I'm almost done. It's so close. This month I was able to do the TBR veteran prompt, which I read Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian for, that I've been meaning to read since last year when I read the rest of the series, when I reread the rest of the series. I read these in like 2010 when the movie came out, probably. It's been a while. And after the book bingo page, we have the book club page that I read Sangu Mandana's new book, and I was very happy that they chose this one for it, honestly, because I've been meaning to read this. And then we have one of my favorite pages, the Year of Goober page, where I get to draw a bunch of flowers. It was so fun. And this month I finally got back and actually painted all the flowers that I have drawn. I needed to do a bunch of them. So let's backtrack a little bit. And for July, I did the larkspur flower. That means bravery, and the prompt was out of comfort zone. So I read a classic book, which was The Posthumous Memories of Brás Cubas by Machado de Assis, which is a Brazilian classic novel from the realistic period. And it was really fun. I had so much fun painting this. It is so different from all the other flowers because of this strong purple color. And I've been using my old Prismacolors to paint these, plus a Pigma Micron to go around and line it. And then for August, I read Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, which was a gladiolus. That means strength. And the prompt was a physical book, and I had this and I've been meaning to read it. I read the first one in March, I think, so that was why I picked this up for July. And this is such a cute flower, like the colors of it, it's so pretty. It's probably the prettiest one of the bunch so far. And then for September, I have a Morning Glory that it was so cute. They have so many different colors, but I chose this blue one. For Morning Glory, it has a meaning of ephemeral, and the prompt I went with was under 300 pages. So I ended up going with Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis, and this I read last month, of course. And honestly, I was struggling with this blue. I chose to do it in blue, and I was like, wait, my blues are not the blue I need to do this blue. So I was struggling a lot and went back and forth a bunch. But for October, I had a great time doing the Marigold. I went with Marigold, which means warmth, and the prompt was read in a cozy place, which I ended up reading Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. And Marigold, it was so fun doing this flower. Actually, when I first saw the picture as a reference, I was like, wait, I'm actually going to perish doing this. But it was so much fun. Like, it is very intricate because there's so many petals in it, but it's so pretty, and I was able to make it so it's a bit more simplified, and it worked out just fine, and it ended up being really pretty. Up next, we have my movie bingo that I'm very excited to actually fill out this month, because I actually watched several movies, so that was fun. So for the bingo, I have Bad CGI with Good Boy, because they had the budget of a potato, so that's what we got. We have Fake Out Death with The Cabin in the Woods, because it's a spoof movie. Of course, there's a fake out death in it. And lastly, I have the horror prompt that I filled out with 28 Days Later. I watched actually several horror movies in October, but 28 Days was the one that actually scared me the most, I think. And we got to my 52 movies in 52 weeks list that I am definitely behind. It is still possible for me to do this. I have 31 movies watched and 21 to go. It's doable. It's possible. I can do it, maybe. But for the movies I actually watched in October, I rate them the same I rate my books, with my Carpe part of my system, with C for characters, A for atmosphere, in this case cinematography, R for relationships, P for plot, and E for enjoyment. The first movie I watched in October was Sinners by Ryan Coogler. I gave it 4.5 stars. Next was Midsommar by Ari Aster, which got 4 stars. Then The Cabin in the Woods by Drew Goddard, that got 3.5 stars. And then I did the 28 series, starting with 28 Days Later by Danny Boyle, that got 4.5 stars. Then 28 Weeks Later by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, that got 3.5 stars. Then 28 Years Later, again by Danny Boyle, that got 4 stars. And lastly, I did Good Boy by Ben Leonberg, that got 3 stars. And this one I watched with a bunch of friends. It was really fun. And then I have my long list with this little Dutch door where I write everyone down. Books go in blue, movies go in black, and then I put down the year that everything came out as well. This page, I am finishing it up because we are in October and I wanted to see it finished, but I don't really like the way I did this page. I really have to figure out a way to do this better, but this is what we got. And now we're going to flip through a couple of these pages because I can't fill out my stats yet, and I don't have anything to put on my other pages this month. But I do have something for Adventures in Aldia this month, because even though I'm late, I am making progress in this. I already am halfway through the book I'm reading for October, or prompt 10, because I read prompt 9 in October instead of reading prompt 10. It's fine, it's okay. I will finish this in December. I believe in myself. But let's talk October cover. I actually recorded this before I recorded everything else, as you can tell by my nails. And I did that because I decided to try to participate on a little reading challenge in October, and I went with the TBR Harvest, organized by Leandra, the TBR Zero, over on YouTube. And I chose to participate on the Harvest because the major component of it wasn't reading, it was collecting books for your TBR. And because I knew I wasn't gonna be reading too much in October, I thought that would be a really fun little challenge to participate and still be able to not feel bad because I'm not reading too much. And it was really fun. I think this was the first time I actually have like a full-on TBR proper list, and I'll show you to you guys in a second. But for the cover, what I did was that I got a beautiful little illustration by May Katani that I found on the internet. She's a Brazilian artist that I found, and she has some really cute artwork on her website. I'll link her down below. But I found this really cute print with the ghosties that I really wanted to put on a cover, so that's what I did. And then I made it into a little flip up so I could have the TBR Harvest Tombs and Tomes in the back. And originally I had the prompt list behind it, but I ended up changing how I did that. And then the little purple papers that you see me putting down is from this little notebook I got in a store that had colorful dotted paper. So I bought it for the sole purpose so I could rip it up and put it in my reading journal, because that is why I buy so many things, honestly. And then I did a little border around everything with 2 of my black washi tapes that I got from Shopee, I'm pretty sure. I have them linked on my list. And I just got these little star black tapes. I think these are my only black tapes. I have a third one. It's a set of 3, but I only used 2 for this. And you see afterwards that I ended up putting a couple of stickers that I don't put now. You'll see them when we cut back to the other clip. But to finish it up, I just wrote down October with my pencil, with my pen, and that was it for the cover. I really like how it turned out. Here are the cat stickers and little jack-o'-lantern, and here's me crashing out because the last Olympian has a different size from everything else. It's fine. I've been fumbling around with the size of all the covers. That's why they are not consistent throughout the year, but I think I figured out a way that I really like. And I've cut away all the time I've spent struggling peeling these stickers off. You guys have no idea the amount of time I spent struggling peeling these off. It was a long time. Do not recommend. It's fine. It's completely fine. We got there in the end. But now, if you struggle with peeling stickers, definitely don't choose to do a page that is just stickers like I did. But I had so much fun putting this list together. For the beginning of the month, I was kind of collecting a little bit, saying, oh, this is nice. And then one day I was like, wait, let me actually finish this list and properly choose everything. And I had so much fun going through the Discord and seeing what people chose and going through my Libby holds and wish list to see what I would choose. I cut away like 90% of the time. I was struggling with this page because it was a lot of sticking. It is 32 stickers, 33 if you count the little ghosts that I put on top. And I decided to change up the harvest and have it like this so I could have all the covers all nice and pretty. And I'm definitely glad I did it like that. So the prompts are, starting with Blood on Her Tongue, I did for black color. Then A Crane Among Wolves, I did for birds. Then The Name Bearer for leaves. Cat's People for animal. Mate for stars. The Resurrectionist for signs of death. Then Beirut Hellfire Society for fire, of course. Then we have Death of the Author for orange. Then, and here you see me crash out because I figure out there's something wrong with my list. Because I got to A Witch's Guide to Magical Inkeeping and I'm like, that is for book, not for Autumn. Because she has a book in her hand. And I'm like, oh, these are just flipped. And I'm like, okay, so I have book for A Witch's Guide for Magical Inkeeping, and then I get to the next one, and I'm like, wait, this is supposed to be the night sky. So, and here you see me start peeling things off, and I'm glad these peeled off just fine, because it would have been a terrible time if they didn't. But you see me going absolutely batshit crazy, going, what happened? What's going on? What is going on? Anyway, I have Ancient Witch's Guide to Modern Dating for Night Sky. Then I have Hemlock and Silver for Fruit or Vegetable. I have The Isle in the Silver Sea for glass. And Of Monsters and Mainframes is coming up for teeth. This is a gorgeous cover. This was definitely a cover read. It was fun though. And then for weapon, I have Glory and Its Litany of Horrors by Fernanda Torres, who is a Brazilian author. And here is me figuring out I am actually missing a cover. I have 30 books down, not 31. And here you see me counting it up and going, wait, what is going on? It was fun. I was like, what am I missing? And then I figured out I was missing Someone You Can Build a Nest In, which was my actual choice for autumn. And then I have Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame for red, that just went in place of the little ghostie that was there in the corner. Then we have A Curse So Dark and Lonely for tree. We have Children of Blood and Bone, that is a reread for me, for eyes. Legends of Lattes for a sweet treat. Jade City for green. The Shape of Water for non-human. Torturado for human. Till Death Do Us Barred for path. Sunrise on the Reaping for purple. Spellfire for witchy item. Ariadne for sun and moon. Bunny for signs of luck. Cry the Beloved Country for stripes. Before Your Memory Fades for indoor. Heavenly Tyrant for mask. And Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazang for Halloween. I absolutely love these pages with all the covers of all the books. I find it so fun. And that's why I did it, even though it took me forever to peel everything and I almost crashed out. And you can see here that I just am circling the books that I actually read, which was 4 out of the 31s. And I'm reading Heavenly Tyrant right now, so I'm thinking I'll probably come back and circle it in a different color just to say I read it, but in a different day. And now I'm just putting the books in my little shelf over here, which is the More Than 52 and 52, because I have surpassed my original plan of reading 52 books. I am up to 61. I am over my goal by 9, which is insane to me because I haven't read 61 books ever in a year. But having done that means that we finally get to my book reviews. I have a lot of setup pages that I do in my reading journal and I find them so fun, so I'll probably just keep doing it. So the actual reading reviews are the last thing I do. Honestly, actually no, because I do the stats after this. Anyway, the first book I read this month was A Witch's Guide to Magical Inkeeping by Sacle, and I was so happy the book club chose this book because I've been meaning to read this since I saw that it was coming out. I was so excited about it because I read A Very Secret Society for Irregular Witches and I loved it, so I was very looking forward to this one. And just as the other one, I did this as an audiobook as well. I was so happy that Libby came through and gave it to me in October, so I read it for the book club. I was very on top of my book club reading this month. I haven't been throughout the year, but it's fine. But I did the audiobook, so I had the narrator Samara McLaren read it, and she was really good. I really liked her. And I read it in like 2 days, even though it was almost 10 hours of audiobook, and I read it in regular speed because English is actually my second language. So if you guys, even though I speak fast, if you start speaking fast, I might not understand you. So I can't really do fast reading in my audiobook journey. It's a time and a half. Anyway, for decorations, I actually didn't have a lot for this book, but I did have this fun green paper that I have from an old notebook that I broke apart to grab the pages from because I wasn't using the notebook, and the pages are cute, so I can use them as decoration sometimes. And then I got some star stickers and the fox sticker and the swan sticker for Sarah Swan from my magical ephemera sticker notebook. And then that little girl, I got a sticker sheet from the makeup artist that did my makeup for my wedding. Actually, she gave me those. And I thought it was really cute, so I wanted to use one of the stickers she gave me. It was really adorable. Now, for the book itself, I absolutely loved it, but I came in wanting cozy fantasy, and that's exactly what I got. Sango Mandana is really good at writing cozy fantasy and really likable characters in an ensemble cast, and I really liked it. Like, just as much as I liked the first Sango Mandana book that I read, I really liked this one as well. It was exactly what I needed from this book, and it was perfect, honestly. She goes into some really heavy topics, especially around mental health and disability, but because the story is quite cozy and quite soft, I want to say, she deals with it very respectfully. So I really liked the way she dealt with the heavy topics that she brought in. So I gave the book 9 for characters, 8 for atmosphere, 10 for relationship because I really liked the found family aspect of it, 8 for plot, and 9 for enjoyment, bringing it up to 8.8 or 4.5 stars. Next, we have Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. This was also an audiobook because apparently I did a bunch of audiobooks this month. This one was read by Carmen Rose, and unfortunately I didn't really like either the story or the narrator. I normally would have DNF'd it, honestly, because if I don't like the narrator, it doesn't help me like the book. But because I had chosen this for the TBR Harvest, I didn't want to DNF it, so I just kept going. Even though I didn't like the narrator, I think I would have had a better time reading this if it was an ebook or a physical book, but the audiobook really brought it down for me. Overall, honestly, half of my fun in this book was that the main character was called Shasheshin, and it was very funny to say Shasheshin all the time, and that was mostly what I enjoyed about this book. Honestly, it took me a few days to get through. It was a little bit shorter than Sango Mandana's, but it took me a bit longer to get through it. And honestly, it's because like the main character is a monster, and that is really interesting, and it was a horror book, and I don't really read horror, so I was really intrigued by it, that the main character was a monster and that the monster was the narrator. It was really interesting, but it didn't hook me, really. It was horror, but it wasn't scary, and I have a really weird time calling something a horror if it doesn't bring me a sense of despair or anything like that. It is a really cute lesbian romance though between the monster and Humlin. So if you want some monster romance, there you go. Although be warned, I felt like the romance kind of just happened. I didn't really feel the yearning that they were supposed to have. They kind of just fell for each other, and I didn't see it happen. It just happened. It is a ace romance though, so if you want some ace in your life, there you go. Other than that, the characters really didn't do it for me. I did like the plot twist with the villain, so if you don't want to know anything about that, do not read what I'm writing down because I definitely talk a little bit about the plot twist. But anyway, that was it for this book. For the decorations, I used a old random picture that I cut out from a book when I was collecting things for collaging, because I actually do really like collaging, which is half of the reason why I started doing a reading journal. And then I got the little vial to represent a vial of rosemary oil and the skull, because Sheshin builds her body out of other people's bones and other things. I really like Sheshin as a monster. I don't like her as a character. But I gave the book 7 for characters, 8 for atmosphere, 7 for relationships, 8 for plot, and 7 for enjoyment, bringing it up to 7.4 or 3.5 stars. And the next book I read was Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neo Yang. And actually I'm doing this in the wrong order. Don't mind that. We'll talk about Monster and Mainframes in a little bit. I also did the audiobook for Brighter Than Scale. And okay, so this book, I only read this because me and my husband decided that we were going to do a road trip for our honeymoon. And we decided that we were going to do an audiobook on our road trip. And he chose this because it was available on Libby and it wasn't that long. It's like 5 hours long. So we're like, yeah, we can totally listen to this while we drive and we'll do that. And it was so bad. We started it and then we were like, oh my God, this is not good. But then we didn't have a different choice to do because we didn't have service to download something else at Libby. So that's what we got stuck with. And it took us forever to finish this because we drove and we read it while we were driving, and then we got back home and then we didn't finish it, and then it took us forever to get back to it, and we had like 30 minutes to go. And one day I was like, babe, we need to sit down and finish this, and we were complaining the entire way through. This is not a good book. Don't listen to it. The narrator, who was Nancy Wu, was not good. And then the story is not good. The characters are awful. They're extremely one-dimensional. It's bad. It's a bad time. I gave it 2.5 stars, and you'll see that I rate it and then it ends up with 3 stars, and I'm like, no, that is too much. I will change my rating so it's lower, and it ends up with 2.5 stars. And that's all I'm going to say about this book. Anyway, the other book I read that I really enjoyed was of Monsters and Mainframes. And if you could see that, I gave it 4 stars. It was really fun. It's like a really cute twist on horror monsters. It was fun. So Barbara Truelove grabbed a bunch of monsters. Like, she has Dracula, she has werewolves, she has Cthulhu. She has these different monsters from the zeitgeist, put them all on a spaceship, gave us a cool robot, and gave us a story. It was a fun time, and honestly, the biggest lie this book tells is that a ship AI only takes 4 batteries to function. That is a big fat lie, because AI takes so much energy. But they have a cute romance between the 2 robot AIs, Stuart and Demeter, and that was really fun. Honestly, I had a really great time when Stuart was the narrator. As for my rating, I gave characters 8, atmosphere 8, relationship 8, because Demeter and Stu was really fun. Plot, I gave it 7 because it's quite simple. And enjoyment, I gave 8. It was a really fun romp, and it ended up being a 4-star, which I stand by, which is different from Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame, that I had to bring the numbers down because it was just bad. The writing is just bad. Do not read this book. I wish it was fun because it was like a lesbian, dragon, romance, fantasy, and it just didn't work. I was very upset. And last but not least, we finally get to the last book I read in October, Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Last Olympian, which is originally the last one in the series, which is why I put down as my Adventures in Audio read for September, but is no longer the last one in the series because Rick Riordan wrote more, but I'm still counting as the last one for that challenge because I did not have another last one in the series to read for that, so that's what we got. Anyway, I definitely put down not the cover of the book that I have. I printed a different cover because I like this new cover that the books have, so that's what I printed, and it went with the stickers and washi tape that I had. Anyway, for the washi tape, this is from a new set of Monet inspired washi tape that I got, and I just got the blue ones to represent Poseidon and Percy Jackson. And then I had this Kraken octopus sticker that I got from my Mystical Ephemera notebook or book of stickers. plus The Mermaid and Dolphin as well. And I had such a good time going back to Percy Jackson, as I always have whenever I read this series. To be fair though, this is the first time I'm actually rereading since I read it in like 2008, 2009. When I was in high school, because my friend was like, you have to read this. And I'm like, okay. And I did. And I had a really fun time. But I still have those books that I read in 2009-ish. So I have them in my shelf and they've been looking at me for years now. And I'm like, I need to reread you. So I reread them in Portuguese, translated by the brilliant Raquel Zampio that did a great job in this. I would know because I've been burned by translations before. I'm looking at you, the Hunger Games series in Portuguese that is terribly translated. I hope they have retranslated that or re-edited that because it was terrible. Anyway, I had a really fun time with this. I won't go much into the story because it is the 5th book in a series, even though it came out forever ago. I'm sure there are people that haven't read it or don't know what's going on and are only watching the show, which I'm really excited for the 2nd season to come out later. This year, I believe it's coming out in December, or is it in January? I have no idea. I need to check that. Do not mind my face showing up in my phone over there. I am so concentrated. It's really funny. I had to edit around the funny faces I made. I will tell you that. Do not look at what I wrote for plot because there are spoilers there. Yeah. So I can't talk much about this other than it was a fun romp. I had a really good time. And I rated it 9 for characters, 8 for atmosphere, 8 for relationships, 9 for plot, and 9 for enjoyment. I had a really good time with this and ended up being 4.5 stars with an 8.6 in my Carpe scale. And with that, that's what I read for October. Overall, not the greatest reading month, but an amazing month nonetheless. I got married in the beginning of the month and it was awesome, honestly. I had a really good time with this. Let me know if you read any of these books and if you read anything on my TBR Harvest. If you have an opinion on what I've chosen for it, let me know. And let me know what you think about my reviews, what you think about these books. And thank you so much for being here. See ya. Bye.